Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to review the second season of the YouTube series Cobra Kai. I know this series has been done to death already by other reviewers, but now it's my turn. Because I just watched the whole second season, and I also watched the whole first season as well. So I'm going to try to merge both seasons into one video. Of course, I did briefly touch on Cobra Kai series when the first two episodes, or the very first two episodes of season 1 aired. And I figured since season 2 is not going to be available for free, well, it is now, but I'm deciding to wait till I see more episodes to do a more proper review of the series. So that's what I'm doing now in this video. Of course, Cobra Kai, picks up 30 when that was 35 years after the original Karate Kid movie. Actually 34 years for season 1. And so Johnny Lawrence, who of course lost to Daniel LaRusso in the original tournament and end of the original Karate Kid movie. Now he's holding him as a drunk, and he's trying to rebuild his life after that loss. So what he did was he decided to reopen his own little karate dojo, and he named it Cobra Kai after the original Cobra Kai dojo. Which I'm surprised that he was even allowed to use the name Cobra Kai. I know the name of the show and stuff, but I'm surprised that he was even allowed to use that name because copyright rules for the original Cobra Kai dojo, the John Kreese man. Because and it does explain throughout the first season that Cobra Kai, or the original Cobra Kai dojo, went out of business and was put out. And of course he does, before I get ahead of myself for that, Johnny Lawrence ends up reuniting with Daniel LaRusso because his car broke down, and Daniel LaRusso is now in charge or runs or owns a series of car dealerships. I don't know how in the world he got involved with that, with the car dealership. It wasn't really explained well. It still hasn't been explained in the second season that how he got involved in being a car dealership owner. Then what happened was they reunited, and Johnny Lawrence still hates Daniel LaRusso's guts. Even though at the end of the movie he congratulated him, Johnny Lawrence congratulated Daniel, says good match. I think not so bad LaRusso, at the end of the original movie. Now all of a sudden, over 30 years later, he really still hates him, and his feelings about him hasn't changed. So what happened was Johnny saves this young kid named Miguel, who ended up for a while dating Daniel LaRusso's daughter, Samantha. Because Daniel LaRusso is also married, I should mention, is married with 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl, and they eventually, by the end of season 1, they actually broke up at the end of season 1. And of course, now Johnny was training this kid Miguel, and also got other kids to train in his dojo. Well, this was going on, and Daniel found out about it. He decided to create his own dojo called Miyagi-Do Karate. And of course, it does explain that Mr. Miyagi, who was played by Pat Morita, passed away. I think back in 2012, he passed away. So they do mention that, and they did bring this thing up that Mr. Miyagi passed away. And it did kind of like a little bit of a tribute to him because he had passed away. And I'm sure if Pat Morita was still alive today, I bet you he probably would be in the series if he hadn't passed away. But getting off topic on that sad deal. So what happened was Daniel finds this young kid who wanted to train in karate named Robbie, and he finds out that Robbie was Johnny Lawrence's son. So when he finds out about it, he wants to get rid of him because he's going to be like his father. And he says, no, I'm different. And he talked him into it, and he finds out that the kid was actually homeless because his mother was a drug addict and drunk, and she went to rehab, so he had no place to live. So during season 2, he starts living with the Russos and living really in what was Miyagi's house. Miss Miyagi's house, because Daniel inherited Miss Miyagi's house as property here in L.A. After when Miss Miyagi passed away, he left Daniel with everything. So what happened was he starts training, and starts building his own. Daniel decides to build his own dojo in the second season. But of course, at the end of the first season, I should finish the first season first. What happened was they did have the karate tournament, and Johnny was trying to get Cobra Kai back into the Old Valley tournament, and Daniel was on the board of directors of the Old Valley tournament because he was a two-time champ, as we know from the movies. And the reason why they were banned is because Cobra Kai was banned because of what John Kreese and his friend Terry Silver did. Even though Johnny had nothing to do with the whole Terry Silver, all the events that happened in Karate Kid 3, Johnny Lawrence, of course, was not in that film. Or the original Cobra Kai students was not in the third film. Because all the students left. The original students left. So when Daniel brought up Terry Silver, Johnny Lawrence says, look, I don't know who that is. Of course, in reality, William Zabka, of course, who plays the part of Johnny Lawrence, knows who Terry Silver is just by watching the Karate Kid 3. But for Johnny Lawrence himself, he doesn't know who Terry Silver was. And he said, look, it had nothing to do with Mike Barnes or Terry Silver. And those names were brought up in an episode of during the first season. So, which goes into the and of course they were allowed. Daniel was still the only one who voted against it, letting Cobra Kai back in. So they had the tournament, and of course the only student that Daniel was teaching at that time was Robbie, and Robbie fought Miguel in the final match, and Miguel was taught Cobra Kai type karate and severely injures Robbie, like separating the shoulder at the tournament and the final match. And even though he was injured, he's still hitting that shoulder and was purposely making the shoulder injuring even more. And Miguel won the tournament. Well, the first season ended on a cliffhanger with John Kreese coming back and coming back with the taking over the Cobra Kai dojo. And the second season picks up right where it left off, and actually was interesting. Johnny Lawrence and John Kreese fighting each other, which was kind of interesting and fun to see, because you waited over 30 years to see that, especially what happened at the beginning of Karate Kid 2, when John Kreese was pissed off that Johnny lost to Daniel in the tournament. So they had that, and then of course John Kreese for a while was teaching the kids, and of course Johnny didn't want him to teach the kids anything. That was maybe just observe, but he was taking over more and more, and then Johnny eventually kicked John Kreese out eventually, in the course of the episodes. Well, when this was going on, the kids who couldn't cut it with John Kreese left Cobra Kai and went to Miyagi-Do Karate and was training under being taught by Daniel. Well, this was going on. Daniel was having trouble balancing both running the dojo and running his car dealership, because he was losing money and he was having a competitor hiring a couple of guys to wrote a penis on his billboard, on Daniel's billboard that he had up around town. So they had that stuff was going on as well as Daniel trying to run both the dojo and the car dealership. So that was pretty interesting. And during the whole summer, that's what was happening, was helping Robbie out. And while there was a love romance going on between Robbie and Daniel's daughter Samantha, that was happening. Then what was happening was there was this new girl who came into Cobra Kai, who like also not only was learning karate in the Cobra Kai dojo by Johnny Lawrence, but she was a kickboxer. So he has kickboxing and karate. So he already had training in kickboxing. Now she's getting training in karate. And she started, her name Tori, this girl named Tori, and she started having a love interest with Miguel. And of course, when that was happening, started a rivalry with Samantha. And the two of them were trying to one up each other a little bit. There was a scene where they were at a country club, and Samantha and Tori got into a fight. You know, they were shoving each other around, one got knocked over, and then just before the summer ended and the new school year started, they had a party, and both Samantha and Tori, all the kids were getting drunk. And once again, Samantha got pissed and got arrested, almost arrested, and so did Samantha got almost arrested. And Robbie took, and now Robbie is going to try and reunite with his father, bond with his father, because it was Johnny, because his mother is now in rehab. So he decided to take Samantha to his father's house because she didn't want, because he wanted to take her home, or Robbie wanted to take Samantha home originally, but he said, no, don't take me to my father, because I don't want my father to see me in this condition, because she was drunk and hungover and stuff, and because they played a drinking game, and Samantha beat out Tori in this drinking game. And because I think Samantha kicked Tori off a little perch that she was on, and of course Samantha got mad. Tori got mad at Samantha for doing that stuff. So now, in the 10th episode, which I just watched this morning, it was the first day of school, and everybody was still covering what happened. And Samantha got caught being in Johnny's house, and Johnny and Daniel actually got a physical fight, because to take Samantha home. But Samantha was mad as why we were there, because he was mad that Samantha was in Johnny's house. And not only that she got drunk and she got in trouble at the party, but also she went to Johnny's house instead of back home. And Samantha told him, look, it was my idea, it was not Robbie's idea, it was my idea. And then, of course, now I really got mad at Robbie because of who his father was and stuff. So you had all that stuff was going on, and now on the first day of school, Tori comes into the school, and because Tori was supposed to be at the school, and she showed up late to school. She somehow gets into the principal's office where they had the PA system. It was homeroom. At this point, it was homeroom, and somebody works in the office and making the announcements, homeroom announcements. And Tori comes in, grabs the PA, and says, "Samantha LaRusso, I'm coming for you, bitch." Hangs up on the PA, and then started like a huge fight. Because Tori was looking for Samantha, and they started a fight. And of course, both Robbie and Miguel try to break up the fight between the two of them, and they really were going at it, tooth and nail. I mean, this fight sequence was going on for about maybe 10 minutes. In the episode, I mean, it had to be about 10 minutes. In the final episode of season 2, and they really were going. These two girls were really going at it. And then Miguel and Robbie tried to break it up, and then Robbie and Miguel were fighting, and then other students from Cobra Kai was fighting the students from Miyagi-Do, and it caused a huge fight. The cops were called and stuff, and Samantha got injured by Tori, saying, oh, she might have broken a rib. She would get cuts and bruises on her because Tori had like a bracelet and put it on her fist and hit Samantha and cut her up and bruised her up. And Tori was like black eyes and bruises all over her face from the fight and stuff, and so were all the other kids. But the most serious one when Robbie and Miguel were fighting, and they were fighting near the staircase, and Robbie kicked Miguel, and Miguel went flying over the railing, and he fell like several feet to the bottom of the staircase, and he was severely injured. He was knocked out. You know how bad he's going to be hurt and stuff like that. And then Miguel's mother, who was starting to develop a romance with Johnny, says, I don't want you anywhere near my kid anymore. My kid doesn't want no. I'm not going to let my kid be trained by you anymore. He doesn't want anything to do with karate and stuff like that. Because look what happened. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to be arrested after this. Because they were fighting in the school, and anybody's going to be arrested, or anybody's going to be suspended from school, or kicked out of school. I guess all that stuff is going to be resolved when they have season 3. And they don't know what's going to happen. But of course, the only cliffhanger that's going to happen, and it really ended with when Johnny threw his cell phone away, and he actually got a call, or should I say, a Facebook friend message by Allie. Of course, it was the character was played by Elizabeth Shue in the original Karate movie that started the whole fight between Johnny and Daniel in the original Karate Kid film. And now, all of a sudden, she's now a doctor who's possibly going to come in. And one of the rumors from the 3rd season is that Elizabeth Shue is going to come in, but I think Elizabeth Shue is not going to do it, which is unfortunate for the series and the franchise. But it was kind of an interesting takeoff on that. But I should mention, I know I skipped over one point of fact that I should mention on this video. Is that there's one scene when Kreese first took over. Johnny, of course, was not thrilled over that because of all this crap that Kreese did before, the previous movie and the beginning of the second movie. So he left for the weekend to spend with the guys the original Cobra Kai guys, at least three of the 4. And the one who was Tommy, I should mention, the one who in the movie, in the original Karate Kid movie, says put him in the body bag. He was sick. In the movie, he was sick. He was dying. His character actually did die in the movie. And not in the movie, in an episode of Cobra Kai, he does pass away. And the actor who played the part, not only in the Cobra Kai series, but in the original Karate Kid movie, he also ironically passed away. And of course, he was the one who yelled the line in the original film, "Put him in a body bag." And in this movie, on this particular episode when he does die, they did like a road trip with him, Bobby Brown, who's now, on the Bobby Brown character, he's now a minister, and plus another character, and it was Timmy or Tommy, whatever the other character was. The 4 of them took a road trip, and they got into a bar fight, and after the bar fight, they were camping out in the woods, and the one who said put him in a body bag passed away, and they actually did zip him up in a body bag and took him away. Or the coroner did, I should say, in an episode. And not too long after this, all 10 episodes were uploaded to YouTube, he did pass away in reality, and it's really a shame. And my sympathies go out to, I forgot the actor's name, but my sympathies go out to the guy who yelled, put him in a body bag. My sympathies do go out to him and to his family. But it was kind of nice to see the original Cobra Kai's in this episode, and Johnny does tell him that he started up with another dojo named Cobra Kai, and the other 3 guys were talking him out of it, saying how crazy he was for even attempting to make a dojo again. But what he didn't tell him was with Kreese. What they should mention, and after the whole incident at the school, and with Miguel being injured and possibly paralyzed in the hospital, Kreese took over his dojo because Kreese took over the lease from Johnny's landlord. And he said, if you want it, you got it, and he just walked out. So you don't know if one of the cliffhangers that's going to be going into the third, was possibly going to result in the third season, is will Johnny join up with Daniel to fight Kreese or not? I'm sure that all that stuff will be taken care of in the third season. At least I hope so. I also heard that season 3 is going to be free on YouTube. You don't have to pay extra. You don't have to pay a premium charge or a YouTube TV charge. And I do hope that will be the case for season 3, so we can do a public review of it when the episodes actually start aiming for season 3. I know when it's going to be. It's probably come out in 2020 sometime, and we'll see. But I'm really impressed with the Cobra Kai series, but I think that the episodes are way too fast, and the season goes way too quick with the details and stuff. I just wish it was more. I should mention when they had the episode with the reunion guys with Johnny and the other Cobra Kais, one of them was not there, and it was Dutch, who was played by Chad McQueen in the original Karate Kid movie. He was not there. I mean, he was mentioned, but unfortunately he was not, for some reason he was not there. I guess maybe couldn't make the times work or whatever the situation was. He was not there. But they did mention the fact that his character was in jail. So it's kind of interesting to catch up with the Cobra Kai, original Cobra Kai, see where they are now in the Karate Kid universe. It was kind of fun. And for me, as a fan of the movies, it's kind of fun to see that. But it would be kind of cool to see Dutch there again. It would have been damn cool to see Dutch going after Daniel again in Cobra Kai. And seeing him in jail and seeing that all the original Cobra Kais eventually have problems, personal problems after the original tournament and dealing with Daniel and stuff. So that's my. But it would be fun if they were able to bring back the original Cobra Kais in the third season. At least the ones that are left. Like I said, fortunately one of them passed away, not on the show, but in real life. But it'd be fun to see them again in season 3. Or maybe some of the other characters in the Karate Kid universe back. So that's my review of the Karate Kid first 2 seasons. Please click on the video, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com, that's all WDY, c.com, that's our homepage, channel reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.